Hello, I'm Maggie Shane, and this is the Coffee House Blog. Welcome. Today's post is Behind the Series, the Danger After Dawn series. Formerly known as the Mordecai Young series, this is the series that has the greatest villain I've ever created. The idea for Mordecai came to me when the Branch Davidian compound in Waco, Texas, was attacked by the U.S. ATF and I believe FBI. And it burned to the ground with dozens of people inside, including women and children. There was no need for the attack. Cult leader David Koresh went jogging and ran errands regularly in the nearby town. The FBI could have picked him up at any time, rather than choosing to launch an armed assault on a compound full of kids. Anyway, it was 1993, and I was 31 years old. I had sold my first 2 novels, but they hadn't come out yet. My girls were 14, 12, 10, 7, and 5 years old. When the assault on the Waco compound happened, I was riveted by the news of it, which wasn't as easy as it is today. No internet to speak of, not for me anyway. No 24-hour news channels everywhere you look. No indie journalists on YouTube. No Substack. It was hard. There's a pretty good mini-series about this incident, this siege, called Waco, and it's by Paramount. So if you look for that, you can find it. And of course, I watched it. I'm fascinated by this whole thing. It was so messed up, and I was pretty obsessed at the time. I was fascinated, too, by the whole notion of charismatic cult leaders who convinced others to join them in their fantasies or delusions or lies. I'd followed the Jim Jones cult and the deaths of 900 people, a third of them children, by drinking poison Kool-Aid at his command. This is where the phrase, "don't drink the Kool-Aid," comes from. It's tragic, horrifying, but also fascinating to me. What do these men have in common? What makes people want to lead others to their deaths? To dig around inside the head of such a person, I had to create one of my own. Enter Mordecai Young, a spiritual man with a genuine gift. He sometimes senses things before they happen. He has a powerful intuition. He might have even been somewhat psychic. But he was also mentally ill. One of the manifestations of that was voices. Mordecai believed with his whole heart that God was speaking to him. He could not tell the difference between his genuine gift and his illness. He owned a large piece of property with several buildings on it, and there he invited young people to come and stay and follow his teachings. Everyone worked, everyone shared, everyone ate, and he had sex with a lot of them. At least one of those dalliances resulted in a baby. In my story, there's an attack on the Young Believers compound, much like the assault on the Branch Davidians 33 years ago. A fire starts, and it's chaos. My main character, Jewel, a teenage girl, grabs her best friend, the baby's mother, and together they try to find the baby to get her out. But Mordecai, the cult leader, has already taken her. They head to the escape tunnels few of the Young Believers know about. And there they find Mordecai with the baby in his arms, trapped by a fallen beam. Jewel takes the baby, but the other girl won't leave Mordecai. And since they can't move the beam, Jewel has no choice but to leave to save the child and herself. Behind her, the place goes up in flames. She gets away with the baby as the sun rises over the burning compound. Mordecai had called the baby Sunny, but Jewel names her Dawn. 16 years later, having raised Dawn as her own, Jewel has become news anchor Julie Jones, and she would do anything to protect her daughter. But Mordecai survived that long ago fire, and he's finally returned to take his Sunny back. To research for this story, I spent time at the WTVH 5 newsroom in Syracuse, New York. I got to hang out with the anchors as they prepared to go on the air. I learned that the photojournalists, the guy with the cameras, are the real jocks of journalism. I learned a ton and applied every bit of it. In the book, Julie's nemesis is a radio shock jock who gets hired as her co-anchor. He seems to know her secrets from day one, and he's determined to figure out what they are. There's great chemistry in this book. Thicker Than Water has more than 1,600 reviews on Goodreads. Eventually, we learn that Julie was not the only survivor, and the series unfurls. One of the ATF agents who believes his bullet killed another girl becomes the hero of the second book. The girl he thought he killed instead went into witness protection. Now, today, he's sent to protect her when Mordecai Young resurfaces. Only he can't tell her who he is. See, in relationships, in books anyway, in fiction, the more powerful the conflict between the characters, the better. And "you're the guy who shot me and didn't even tell me" is a pretty powerful conflict. Dawn, the baby rescued from the compound way back when, features heavily in this story as well, as does the hero's teenage son, Brian, and the two start a relationship. In Book 3, Darker Than Midnight, Cassandra Jackson finds an escaped convict hiding in the house that came with her new job at the local police department. He's an ex-cop who was tried for the murder of his pregnant wife and found not guilty by reason of insanity. He's escaped his psych hospital to prove his innocence. Dawn features heavily in this book as well. When her friend Cassandra is in trouble, Dawn's psychic ability, which she's inherited from her father, might be the only thing that can save her life. But by the end of Book 3, Dawn is so traumatized by having visions and terrified of being anything like Mordecai that she runs away. When my publisher later asked me to continue this series with a second trilogy, I wanted it to be about Dawn coming to terms with being a powerful psychic. Back in those days, I worked with a publisher that was becoming ever more heavy-handed. They wanted me to dial the psychic stuff way back and keep the spin-off trilogy strictly romantic suspense. I was told not to muddy it up with paranormal elements, something that's quite challenging for me. Translation: don't confuse the readers. To be fair, suspense was selling a lot better than paranormal at the time. Hell, as far as I know, it still is. So in Killing Me Softly, which now that I've put these two trilogies together, it's one 6-book series. So Killing Me Softly is book 4. Instead of making Dawn have to deal with being psychic, I had to make her deal with not being psychic. She has successfully suppressed her gift since leaving Vermont, having fled to the opposite coast. But Brian, now a rookie cop back home, is in trouble, being framed for the crimes of a serial killer. She has to go home to Blackberry, and she prays she can get her stuff back in time to help the only guy she's ever loved. From there, I stuck in the same town, exploring the secret pasts of 2 other local women, secrets that could get them killed. In book, I have written the wrong numbers in my notes here. So in book 5, Kill Me Again, 2 teenage boys joyriding find a body that turns out to be not as dead as they'd initially thought. The man's been shot in the back of the head, execution style. A steel plate saved his life, but not his memory. The only thing they find on him is the business card of local college professor Olivia Dupree. Olivia has a secret past with a powerful man who'd have killed her if he knew she was still alive. But this man isn't him. The card found on this man has her handwriting on the back. She'd sent it to the reclusive author she'd invited to an exclusive fundraiser. He'd never shown up, and this has to be him. A writer she's read so much she feels like she knows him. Or has she been corresponding with a hitman sent to kill her all along? Finally, in book 6, Kiss Me, Kill Me, we follow up with one of those teenage boys who isn't who he seems. His mom, local doctor Carrie Overton, delivered him when she came upon his mother alongside a deserted stretch of highway on her way to start her new life and new job in a new town. Carrie tried to find the woman, and she did. Dead. Murdered. But now the teenagers of Blackberry are going missing, and there are two strangers in town showing interest in her son. One of them is the hero. The other is a true threat, and she can't tell which is which. The hero of this story is largely based on my own beloved husband. If only he played the guitar. Oh, and the big English Mastiff, Freddie, is a major character, and he is entirely based on my beautiful Dozer dog. He gets to be very heroic in these pages. My big, sweet guy. Best dog ever. What a beautiful boy he was. This series is some of the best suspense writing I have ever done. Lots of killers and twisty plots that'll keep you breathless and on the edge of your seat. Now, here are the details you need to know. This series is wide, meaning that it's in ebook everywhere. Barnes & Noble, Apple, Google, Kobo, Smashwords, everywhere, and Amazon too. These are also in paperback, and those paperbacks are available everywhere books are sold. You might have to have the bookseller order them, but you can get them. And some will be carrying them. Danger After Dawn is a 6-book series that was originally 2 trilogies that I put together, and it is complete. Danger After Dawn is also available in a 6-book omnibus, 1 volume, the entire series inside. That version is available in ebook only because you couldn't fit 600,000 words in a single volume. I don't think, maybe, but I don't think. Danger After Dawn is enrolled in Kobo Plus, which means Kobo Plus members can read it for free. I am very proud of this series, and I hope you enjoy it. Now, before I let you go, I'll offer a quick progress report. I have second drafted the first half of Lone Wolf, a little more than that now. It's on track to be finished by the end of this week and in the hands of my trusted editor for the first edit. After that, there will be 2 more rounds of polishing, but this draft that I'm doing right now is the big one. And it's where the story really comes together. Lone Wolf will release on July 2nd, and I am super excited about this one. I think you're going to love it. There's no pre-order yet. We like to wait until after the first edit for that. It'll go up for pre-order around mid-March in ebook everywhere. And then the paperback pre-orders will come a little bit later after the final proofread. The paperback will be available everywhere books are sold, and the ebook on this one, Lone Wolf, will be an Amazon exclusive and a Kindle Unlimited selection. That's it for this week. See you next time.